Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports. And today is Tuesday, June the 10th. I want to give you a little bit of an update of what's been happening over the last few days and just to give you something to look forward to as far as videos that are coming up. On Sunday, Reginald Scott and Giovanni Prosperi were here at the shop and we shot a video, a podcast, if you will. And Giovanni has been featured on the channel before. He did Race Across the West last year, so 800 something miles, and I forget the amount of climbing. And then this year he's going for solo, so all the way across the country, 3,000 miles, right? So 5,000 K. And Reginald Scott is crewing for Giovanni as media crew. Makes sense, right? He's got a YouTube channel, driver, and whatever else they need, right? Because once you're on the crew, you could be asked to do any number of things: fill bottles, make sandwiches, whatever. If you're not sleeping, you're working. So that happened on Sunday. So look forward to that. It's a fairly long podcast because I was interviewing both Giovanni and Reginald Scott at the same time, and so the subject matter goes back and forth, and of course there was two of them, so some topics were covered by both and some topics were just exclusively Giovanni or Reginald. So that was Sunday. Then today they launched out. Today was the beginning of Race Across America and the beginning of Race Across the West. So I'll try to maybe throw some segments out there of what I did today at the race start. And then, because some folks have asked for long form videos for me, and so they're like, no, I like the long form. I like to set it up and then just let it play and that. So what I may also do is then do a compilation of all of the short interviews and the different people that I spoke to. It was hard to get people to open up. Some folks just don't like to be on YouTube, and that's okay. You know, I have to respect their privacy. It isn't just about me wanting to provide content to you. I have to respect the racer's privacy, or if it was a crew member or stuff like that. And then sometimes it's just a little bit awkward when you start talking to them and the conversation's flowing nicely, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I should be getting this on video. And then you make a break and you say, hey, do you mind if we shoot a video about this? And sometimes they say no, and sometimes they say yes. So believe it or not, I try to get a lot more content than I actually end up posting. So I went down to the start line and I did release one video so far, and that was an interview with the race director, Rick Bothling, and his dad was there too. We shook hands off screen, but we were just doing the just Rick and I at the start line. So I've already released that. I was going to do some editing, but I thought, you know what? There was a lot of that video that just flowed. It doesn't need any additional editing. So that one is already up, but then I was able to interview Giovanni, go over one of his bikes. I was also able to see Shaun, and when I was talking with Shaun, I kind of I felt he was a little bit tense, and so I was a lot more respectful of that. And I could be misreading that. Maybe it's not that he was tense. It could be that he was laser focused on what he needed to do. So I came to the start to support him and to wish him a good race and bon voyage, but I didn't want to intrude in his headspace. And so, I spoke to some of the crew members. Interestingly enough, one of his crew members was my crew chief on one of my 500 milers, and it was the year that I did the sixth straight solo at the 508. And at that point, no one had ever done more than 5. I was the first one to do 6 straight solos. And one of them was also a fixed gear year, which was 2007. The same year I ended up doing RAM as well, 2007. So 2007 was a pretty big year. But so Steve was there, and it was awesome because I hadn't seen him in a long time. And then another friend of mine, John, was there, and I didn't know he was crewing. So it was a great surprise to see not just only Steve, but to see John. John and I have known each other 20 plus years, and we've been riding the local roads and double centuries and stuff together for many, many years. He did all the build out in my store because he's a general contractor and can do basically anything. So that was Shaun, that was Giovanni, and then on top of all that great stuff, I also got to spend a few minutes with Reginald. And Reginald was gracious enough with his time, even though he's part of the crew, so he's always has to be mindful what the crew chief may need from him before they roll out. And so we spent a little bit of time, and we did something just goofy. So I had my camera pointing towards him, he had his camera pointing towards me, and we were filming each other. So Reginald's just a funny guy, and so that kind of worked out for us to both be able to shoot a video simultaneously, if you will. So if you want to cover the race, go to, and this is what we all call dot watching. So now we all start watching the dots go across the country. And so if you want to see that at a snail's pace, but these guys and gals, oh, yes. I also got an opportunity to talk with Dorina, who is in the 60 plus female category. And last year she did Race Across the West. This year she's doing, you know what? I can't remember, but I think she's doing Race Across America this year. So we spent a few minutes talking, and she rides locally. So we get an opportunity to see each other at local brevets. And there's a video just recently where I was out with my mentee. I was doing a saddle adjustment, and Dorina went by, and someone made a comment about she used to be a world champion fencer. Tell us more. And so I got that on, I captured that. I asked her that question and captured it. Now she's soft-spoken, so it's a little bit hard to hear. Turn on captions, and hopefully YouTube can hear her and give you a transcription down below. Right, so interviews with Giovanni, sometime with Shaun, sometime with my former crew chief, Dorina. So a lot of content from the start line. And then, of course, watching everyone roll out and wishing them well. Now let's go back to how to watch the dot. ramrace.org. So RAM, Race Across America. So ramrace.org. And I'm one of the top row selections. It'll be, watch the race or follow the race. Pull down that menu and you will see live coverage, I believe is what it says. So that dot, you'll have to know the racer's name or maybe have the menu up on the side. But for the time being, Shaun is race number 701. Giovanni is race number 700. So when you see the little flags going down the road, that's how you can identify those two gentlemen. And let me get you Dorina's race number as well. I'm glad I did that because Dorina is racing Race Across the West. Now, I want to make sure folks know this. This isn't just a, oh, she's just going to Colorado. Durango, I think, is the finish line. This is basically the hardest part of the race, because after Colorado comes, Kansas and some the Great Plains, and then you don't get in you get into some really hard climbing once you get into West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Those states for me were just so hard because the climbs are steep, they're short, but they're just repetitive, right? After you've been rolling Big Ring for a long time, it seems. So yeah, it isn't just Race Across the West. She is racing Race Across the West. Her number is R88. And when I spoke with her, she wants to go for her own record. So she set the record, I don't know how many years ago, but she wants to break it this time around, right? So lots of content coming. As I mentioned, I may throw it out as separate things, or I may compile it all, and then you watch it as you can. So, you watch 20 minutes today, 20 minutes later, 20 minutes tomorrow, something like that. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.